Now then guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all well. In this video, we are going to talk about the things I hate the most about owning a camper van. Specifically this one. So, if you're thinking about getting a camper van or have a camper van on the way, take these things into account before you get there. Because it's not all roses, it's not all Pinterest and loveliness and what some social media, including some of my stuff, might lead you to believe that camper vanning is all about. So, problem number one that I have in the van constantly is mess. Now, it is unavoidable, especially when there's myself, Michelle, Olivia and the dog all in this tiny little space. It just gets messy really quickly. Now, I have got over the fact that it gets messy and I don't tidy it constantly. I think that was a mistake I used to make, was I'd be tidying constantly and getting stressed out, like put that away, put this away, put that away. Whereas now, what I do is I wait till the end of the holiday or the end of the break, and then I have like a really massive clean up and tidy up, which is lovely. It's really satisfying. Or like a holiday in France when we were going from campsite to campsite. At the end of each stay at a campsite, I'd give the van a little bit of a clean and a zhuzh. So then it was lovely for when we arrived at the next campsite, which lasted about 5 minutes before it got a mess. Obviously, it's slightly tidier, slightly less messy when there's just me in the van, but it still gets messy very quickly, especially if I've got a walk to do the next day and I've got everything out, ready to go. You know, I've got my clothes that I've taken off. I've got the clothes that I'm going to be wearing the next day, including shoes, walking stuff, all the vlogging stuff, kettle, all the things out. It gets really messy. Now imagine that then when there's another 2 adults and a dog in the van. Olivia has this routine where she has to put all these products on her face to make the face look nice to go to sleep. Don't know, but that's just products out on the side. Michelle, pretty much exactly the same. Micellar water, whatever that is. And they have to do all that stuff and leave all their things out. Books and pads and charging stuff and kettles and all of the things that are out just become messy. So yeah, just prepare yourself for mess. So another gripe I have about owning a camper van is I daily drive the van. Now that's not the gripe, I love daily driving it. However, if I'm working in a city centre or we're going out on a leisure activity to a city centre, we have to think ahead and plan ahead about where we're going to park, because not all multi-storey car parks will allow a vehicle of this height to go inside. Now, not only that, there's some outdoor parking areas where the height barriers are just about high enough for a car to go through, never mind a van as well, and you end up parked in, you know, a dodgy area or somewhere you don't know. Like when I went to Caerphilly and I wanted to go to Caerphilly Castle, I had to find a car park that allowed the van to fit in. Now, I didn't know the area. It could have been a beautiful place. It could have been a really dodgy part of the of Caerphilly. I don't know. But I had to park the van there because that was the only place that I could get the van in that wasn't under a height-restricted barrier. So all these things you have to think about before you go and do something for the day. And also bear in mind that when you do choose somewhere to park that is available, that's not height restricted, you could end up in a dodgy area. Which brings me on to my next thing. Constantly thinking that my van is going to get stolen. Like all the time. It's there. And the van is constantly there as a worry in the back of my mind. Is somebody going to steal it? So I've got a steering wheel lock, which would probably take about 30 seconds for somebody to steal it and break that. But it's a deterrent, it's a visual deterrent. I've got a tracker in the van so I know where the van is at any one time. You know, that's also a deterrent because there are stickers on the side of the van. I've also got a bear lock, which the guys at Theft Stop kindly installed for me, which I thought was lovely. In fact, there's a full video on that and I'll link it in the description below and you can go watch that. And the bear lock is there, it locks it into position so you can't, you know, move the gear stick at all. So all of these things combined, I think, make me less worried about it being stolen, but still worry about it being stolen, because there's nothing to stop somebody just picking this up and putting it in a low loader and driving it away, and or, you know, pillaging it for all of the bits. Just as a side note, because I know I'm going to get asked a million times, this folded downy shelf I got from Dub Styling. Now, Joe at Dub Styling doesn't do these shelves anymore, and I've not been able to find anywhere else that I can get hold of them, so I do apologise. Loads of people do ask in the comment section below where to get these folded downy shelves from, and until I find where I can get them from again, then, you know, I don't know. So yeah, hopefully that should clear that up. And I'm going to get asked about this screen as well. There is a full video on the channel that I link down below where I installed this screen and how it's done. So yeah, I just know I'm going to get asked about these things. Oh, and also I get asked about this, the Bentley stitching pop-top roof ceiling thing. Now, that was installed by C&H Pop-Tops or C&H Campers in Huddersfield when they did my pop-top for me, so it's all part and parcel of the service that they did. I think I've covered everything now. There will be something, and I don't mind. I love answering your questions, and I love it when people comment on the videos. It's really nice to have that community together. Right, let's move on to the next thing that I hate about owning a camper van. MPG, right? Okay, so bear with me on this one, because I talk to loads of people who own vans and they go, oh yeah, I did a trip up to the Lake District the other day and I got 40 miles per the gallon on my VW T6 2-litre Blue Motion. It's brilliant. And everyone's like, oh, 40 miles per gallon, that's brilliant. Oh, nice. It's not, it's rubbish. My previous car used to get 40 miles to the gallon when I were doing like little city runs and short runs. And then if I were going up to the Lake District, I'd get anything between sort of 50 and 60 miles to the gallon. That's good miles per gallon. Now, I do understand, obviously, these vans have got cupboards in them, heavy beds, all the Amazon products, if you know my van, batteries, fridges, all of your stuff, your pans, your pots and everything. So actually getting 40 miles to the gallon in a van with all this weight and everything, and it's made like a brick, so it's not exactly aerodynamic, is all right. It's good. But really, when you think about it, with my previous vehicle, I'd only fill it up with fuel once every 10 years. Whereas now, with this vehicle, I'm filling it up once every 10 minutes. I drive from one pump to the next pump to fill it up. I did a short trip out to Harrogate the other day, which is that way. And I was stuck in traffic most of the time because I had to go at rush hour because of the appointment that I had. And I think I got 28 miles to the gallon out of it. And it bothers me as a Yorkshireman. So get used to the fact that you're going to be spending a lot of time at the petrol pumps. This could be specific to my van. However, having seen a lot of vans either at shows or your vans when we've done meetups, I think a lot of us have exactly the same issue, which is the driver's seat at the front doesn't recline back far enough because of the cupboards. And that does my head in. I'm really tall. I'm 6'2", 6'10" with the quiff. It's comfortable enough, and obviously we've done a lot of mileage in it, certainly when we went to France, but I'm more of a lean back arm on the steering wheel, arm on the gear stick kind of guy driver, but I can't do that in this. I have to be like, hello, I am upright and I am driving today, which is probably better for my back, I'll be honest with you. However, I don't feel like that's a comfortable driving position at all, and I wish that the cupboards were further this way and I could get my chair a little bit further back. However, it's just one of those compromises that I had to make when I built the van. I wanted space in the back so we could put things like awnings and beds and long stuff that just needed to be out of the way, which meant I put the cupboards further that way, which meant that the compromise was I couldn't push my seat as far back as I wanted to, which is annoying, but it's a compromise that I had to make at the time of building the van. So rattles do my head in. And if I take everything out of this van, all like the pans and pots and all the associated things, there are no rattles. Now that's mainly because when I built the van, me and Michelle went on rattle patrol. Michelle would drive it up a bumpy road, it'd be rattling around all over the place, and I'd be like, right, okay, that needs doing, and I'd tighten everything up, and then it would be lovely, and there were no rattles. When I drove this van, without anything in it, apart from the cupboards and the bed and all the stuff that's bolted in, zero rattles. It's beautiful. But then you have to fill it with things like cups and pans and forks and knives and Kadacs and gas bottles and all the other associated things that you want in your van to make it a comfortable experience when you're camped up. They rattle a lot. Now, I've tried to do lots of things, like with the drawer, I've carpeted it so then the knives and forks don't rattle, and I've carpeted all the shelves so things don't rattle on the shelves, but things rattle in between themselves. Now, my first initial thought, and a lot of people have advised me, thank you very much, to wrap things in towels and or blankets, which is great while you're driving. But imagine like having to, you pull up somewhere and you're like, I'm just going to make myself a bit of dinner and a cup of coffee, but you've got to unwrap everything like it's Christmas every single time. You'll do your head in. The one way that I've managed to negate the rattle thing, so then I don't have to listen to rattles, is, this is an important update, just turn the stereo up. Put the music on, put your favourite song on, turn the stereo up, rattles are gone, because it's something you're going to have to live with. So in winter, when I'm not burning potatoes in a fire pit outside in -2, I have to cook inside the van. Certainly if it's raining, throwing it down, windy, horrible. You know, I've been in situations like that before where I've had to just batten the hatches and cook inside the van. Now, the problem with that is everything stinks. You know, if you're cooking a burger, if you're cooking bacon, if you're cooking anything that's got any sort of smell to it, it'll cling to the carpets, the walls, the floor, the bedding, anything that's got some sort of material, you know, your front seats or whatever, it's going to smell. And then 3 days later, you'll go into the van, you'll open the door, and rather than it smelling like roses or your favourite scent, it smells like burger or bacon, but like old burger and bacon, and it's horrible. I hate it. One of the things that really boils my is when the bed's out, I can't get into any of the cupboards down here. It's really annoying because it also links back to the mess thing. Because on a night time, when you get the bed out, or just before you get the bed out, you have to think, what am I going to need either now or in the morning that's in those cupboards before I put the bed out? Because once that bed's out, you can't get into those cupboards. You just cannot get into those cupboards, and it's really annoying. So everything has to be out on the side, links back to the mess in the van. You've got your clothes out, you've got your cellar water, you've got all your associated makeup and stuff for your children or your wife or whatever, and then you've got all the things out for breakfast the next day, and maybe your new clothes out for the next day, and you've got pillows and dog treats and dog food and dog
3 hours later.
dog food and dog blankets, dog beds, leads. Everything is out because you don't want to get into bed and go, oh, I've left the kettle in the cupboard. And we go camping to chill. I don't want to be stressing out and putting the bed away in the morning and getting cold before I put the kettle on. I want to get the kettle on before I even put the bed away. I want to have my morning coffee because I'm a bit grouchy beforehand, I'll be honest with you. But not being able to access those cupboards, and it's going to be very similar in a lot of other vans as well. In fact, our bed, when I fit it, the chair bed thing, the rock and roll bed, I fit it a little bit further back. Again, bear that in mind. So then when it's out, there's a little bit of space at the bottom of the bed and we can still get into the fridge. So at least I can get to my beers. And this is a short wheelbase van. It's not a long wheelbase or anything like that. So yeah, I sacrificed the boot space to get living space. So then at least I could get to the fridge and have a wee. But, you know, I still can't access those cupboards. So this cupboard comes in handy because it's the only one we can get to. And yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? But it's just one of those things. It's one of those things you have to deal with as a camper vanist. So these are just my gripes, and you know, if you've got any gripes at all that I've not mentioned, then pop them in the comment section below because it'd be quite entertaining to find out what your gripes are about owning a camper van as well. Not only that, these negatives that I find of the van are completely outweighed by the positives. I've actually done another video on the reasons to own a camper van, and one of those reasons is just to be out in the middle of nowhere, going for walks for my mental health, and that one reason alone outweighs all of the negatives of owning a camper van. This video is more for sort of entertainment and or a bit of informational purposes, so then you don't go into owning a camper van thinking that it's all Pinterest and your van's going to be clean constantly or whatever, you know. So I just thought I'd throw those out there for you guys who are getting a van or wanted a bit of entertainment this week. I've no idea. Anyway, the Scotland trip that is planned now is done. I've added a few little things here and there. It took me a long time to put it together. Thank you so much for all the emails that I got from you guys. Absolutely awesome. I've got some great ideas. I'm going to go up via Lomond, Glencoe, out towards Glen Shiels. I'm going to pronounce every single place wrong, out towards Skye, and, you know, go to campsites, do a bit of wild camping as well. I'll be honest with you, I'm going to do mostly campsites. Now, there's a reason for that, and I'll explain in more detail in the actual Scotland trip video, but I think, personally, I much prefer to go up somewhere like that. It's my first ever time. I've not ever done this on my own before, certainly not for a week, and I didn't want to be apprehensive about being in a wild camping spot that I wasn't sure whether I'd be able to stay or whatever. And I know there are loads, and I know I'll go back and I'll be there, but I also know that I've got quite a lot of subscribers, having talked to you, that actually want to do this kind of trip but don't want to do the wild camping side of it. They want to go to some amazing campsites that have got great views, or little campsite stop-offs and things like that. And I'll do campsite tours for every single place that I stop at. And there's one absolutely stunning campsite that was an alternative to the ski resort at Glencoe that I were going to stay at. And my good friend Paula Beaumont, who you have seen on the channel before, gave me a recommendation that I'm going to go stay out. It's practically as wild camping as you can get, with beautiful views. but you're in a campsite. So it kind of ticks a lot of boxes for me and may do for you. But anyway, again, I'll explain in more detail as to why I've gone that route on this occasion in the Scotland videos that will be coming up in sort of November, December. And that's about it. I think that's the end of the video. Right, have an awesome weekend, everybody. Stay amazing. Enjoy your beer or your coffee or your wine or your water, whatever you're drinking right now. And I shall see you on the next adventure. Take care. See you. Bye. Welcome back to another video. I hope you're all well. I am just going to jump in the van now, and I don't know what I'm going to do, so we're going to, and then it'll continue in the van. There, dynamic, innit? It's nice. So do it so you start the intro, and then continue the intro in the van. Yeah, how's this? Need a coffee though. Coffee. She's about to get a camper. So, the problem I have... Beep. Whatever. Right, next one. Have I got my coffee in my hand, like Oliver Twist? Diesel pumps, whatever. Why have you got a crop top on? It's raining and it's freezing. So I've done getting stolen. I've done... okay, right, driver's seat. This could... Stop wobbling. Yep, perfect. I have to get this back into position now. No idea. Still stupid. It's still not good enough.